Hello everyone, this is Galvino, and I'm here to do a tier list of Star versus the Forces of Evil. Now I'm going to be using characters that are, the only ones that are relevant and have been in fights. If you got some other ones like the spider or the eagle thing that works for Ludo, I just didn't feel like putting them in, for example, and random humans and whatnot. Just didn't feel like doing that, just doing the important characters. So let's just get to it. Starting off with D tier, we got Ludo. Not much to explain. He's just this little munchkin thing that kind of just he needs goons to do everything for him. Next, I'm gonna put Buff Frog. Now he's one of his stronger goons. I'm not too sure he can beat up the spider or the eagle. He probably can, but I honestly forgot. But he's better than Ludo. Now moving on to the B tier. Yeah, I know, we're moving these tiers pretty fast. Some people are going to be really mad with this. Just let me explain, and you should be fine. Marco. He goes so, like, up and down. Well, he never goes to D tier, but, he goes so up and down. As a human, similar to Finn the Human in Adventure Time or Batman in the comics and whatnot. He's weird. He's gonna stay in the bottom of B tier because, well, he knows karate, but there's a lot of guys above him that are stronger and know a lot of magic and blah blah blah. And I'll get to them, and you'll see why they are stronger. Next up is gonna be Tom. Tom is, he has magic. He's actually the only one with magic at the, I think after the finale, according to the author or the writers. But he's not all that. He should be more powerful than Marco and should be able to defeat him whenever, but that's about it. I don't see Tom beating up the rest of the cast here, especially because he's so young. Maybe if he's older, he can move up, but I don't know. Now, next up is Teen Meteora. Now, she should have, like, if you want to say Tom can beat her, like, it's not impossible, but she is of that royal bloodline with the magic in them and all that. And I just don't see Tom beating somebody like that. But if you want to debate, this is like a good fight or something, I don't know, maybe. But also, I guess if she has her butterfly form, if using this image and she has the butterfly muty form, then, I just don't see Tom doing anything. I don't know. Next up is going to be the adult version. Should be stronger than her teen self. Now, we don't know exactly how strong she is, but I assume she is at least better than a teen self and should be able to fight off. Now, if you want to say, like, oh, she's like this or something, it's hard to say. I say that if you give her the magic, then she's like that. Basically like that, okay? Next up is going to be Mubity Star, but like beta or whatever they call it. Marco pretty much couldn't do anything to her, and I can see her taking down these guys. Now, the rest of the characters, I doubt she can take care of, but I don't see Mubity. I don't see Meteora taking care of this Star. And Star is like a mega prodigy, like it's just. Hey, look at her eyes, they're glowing, bro. Like these characters are not doing that unless if they go Mubity, Meteora, the teen or adult self, then then maybe Star can go down, but for now I'm gonna put Star like this. Next up is gonna be her father, King Butterfly. Now Star and Marco had to like jump on him so he can like run really fast for them, like subsonic, implying that they couldn't do it themselves or whatever. But even though it was either the same episode or another episode that Star kind of speed blitzes past him and a bunch of other people. Like, I don't know, it's weird. I say he's like that, and that Marco should not be able to replicate that. And yeah, Marco's weird. I'm gonna explain Marco a little bit more later, but King Butterfly should scale above this really early Star and Meteora, who I'm pretty sure should have no feats whatsoever, and then her teen self just has a scale below. Okay, so now this is where we're gonna get to a little bit more powerful characters. Next is gonna be Lekmet. Lekmet is he's more of a support character compared to the other members of the Magical High Commission. He'll like revive people and whatnot, similar to like Mercy if you ever played Overwatch, or other support type characters done a lot of other video games. And basically he's around that, like their level. Otherwise, why would he be in the commission, you know, a council? But should be below the others, which I'm about to get to. All right, so next up is gonna be Romulus. Romulus is a little bit weird. He's able to seal people that are much stronger than himself, like Eclipsa. But the problem is, if he goes up against somebody with a wand, and it's not looking good for him. So, like, how Eclipsa got sealed exactly, I'm not sure if you've seen that, but the point is, if you're like skilled enough or powerful enough, you could just dodge out of the way. All right, just get the hell out of the way. Yeah, okay. Just don't get hit. Which is why I'm gonna say the next person is Hekapu. Hekapu, I think, is one of the more skilled people out of the council. Especially since, if you remember watching my Sora versus Star video, she time in her dimension is way slower, and she's been around for like millions of years. I don't remember the exact number, but she's been training she's been fighting for a long time. She's a very old creature, and basically the idea is with Romulus, he just wouldn't be able to hit her. She could just like dodge out of the way, use portals, whatever. Next up should be pretty obvious. Gonna be Adult Marco. Now, Adult Marco is a little bit weird because usually in scaling for this series, usually we say when Marco returns to his kid form, he keeps his stats as he was as an adult, like his speed and whatnot. Is why, you know, Hekapu's running around the planet in like seconds, and then we say Adult Marco scales to that, and then we say Kid Marco scales to that, and blah blah blah. Problem is, I don't see Marco ever beating the guys above him. Like, meanwhile, Adult Marco can't. Like you would have to argue Kid Marco is equal to Star, which there are a couple of scenes where we do see them being kind of like equal, defeating people. Like, Star is not mega carrying, speed blitzing all the time. Like, Marco is very like helpful, but if you think about what the writers want, you're not seeing Marco just fighting the Magical High Commission. Not happening. So I'm just gonna put the Adult Marco up here. Now, if you want to say he's, you know, he keeps his stats, you know, maybe you say something like this or something. You can also argue that Hekapu, like catching Hekapu, is not the same as you know, beating her. So you could say something like this, and then, you know, Marco, you know, Romulus, he could just keep dodging, just never get sealed or whatever. Something like that. So, but if you want to say that Marco does not keep his stats and he's just kind of like, or whatever, then yeah. Though we usually do say for certain that he keeps his skills, because right, because he keeps his memories, if I remember. So something like that. You can also argue, like I said, you can argue Hekapu is like above Adult Marco, but I'll just do it like this for now. Next up is gonna be OP. Now, he's space and time. I'm just gonna put it like this. He kind of is the filter for the rest of the god. Listen, the only people that can beat him are wand users, basically, or anybody who scales to them. And there's only one other person in B tier that is sort of a problem, but not because he's that powerful. And next up is gonna be Toffee. Now, Toffee is a bit weird. He has basically his best asset is, you know, being smart and trying to have others do stuff for him. And his other good thing is regen, right? That's why Moon Butterfly has to use Eclipse spells and whatnot, dark magic or whatever, to defeat Toffee. Now, is Toffee just gonna run up to like OP and like punch him out or whatever? No, but the problem is I don't see how OP could ever fully deal with Toffee, because the implication is that you need Eclipse's magic, and then nothing else in all of reality will work against Toffee. Heck, his regen is just that good. That the master of space and time can't do anything against it. It's just, it is what it is. And for anybody who watches Naruto, another good analogy is that, especially if we do scaling, is that there's Madara versus the first Hokage, Hashirama. They are regarded as equals who kind of stalemate each other most of the time. Hashirama barely winning. Now the problem is, for anybody who debates it, it's usually regarded as Madara being slightly stronger than Hashirama because Madara does not have regen and Hashirama does have regen, right? And yet they're still stalemating each other, even though Madara, like, so basically what's happening in the fight is that Madara is doing damage to Hashirama and Hashirama just kind of regenning it off. And basically how this connects to Toffee is that it's a similar idea. He's weaker than some of these characters here, but the problem is he can regen. That's why he's so dangerous. And, you know, Marco's in his tier because he can, like, just punch a hole through Toffee. But again, problem is his regen and whatever, right? Now, I did forget one person, Mina. She is regarded as the greatest warrior ever. I was going to put her above OP, and you can say she is, right? Especially if you regard the councils like warriors, it's kind of, you know, then she should scale above them. But, and this is her base form, so I don't really, and you could, she's usually, like, for example, in the Versus Wiki, say she's like equal or above King Butterfly. He's also like a great warrior himself and one of the better ones, if not the best one besides her. Or at least in modern times, whatever. Now, if you want to say she's below the council, whatever, I was going to put it here. Now, I'm going to leave it here. But if you want to, don't get mad at me. If you want to scream at me, just say, oh, she's like here or whatever. Fine, okay? But I'm just going to keep it here for now. Next up is probably going to be the weakest possible, like, wand user, magic user. Which is, you know, Meteor is a baby in the finale. In her Mubity form. Don't see anybody else doing anything against her. Like, she's pretty freaking powerful. I don't know what else these guys could like a wand user type level. Okay, I'll get to why wand users are just so above. Basically, she's just scaled to the wand, and the wand is the same weapon that was used to basically one-shot the Master of Space and Time. So, you know what I'm saying? So, and then you got this girl not really using magic in base, you know, and then Toffee. You can, I mean, maybe she'll have this, the baby. Like, the baby's more powerful than Toffee, obviously, and so is the magical high commission. But there's a difference between the council and then a wand user. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm gonna put the baby a whole nother tier, and yeah. Next up is gonna be Moon Butterfly in base. I don't know if she could dip down, but this is with her full potential, pretty much like there. Again, it's one of the weaker ones compared to the rest. She's definitely above the council. I mean, she's the queen after all. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna say, huh? Next up is gonna be the Prodigy main character herself, Star Butterfly. Again, in base, pretty damn powerful. This is the one where she's kind of using magic without the wand towards the later end of the series. And I say she's above her mother just because Eclipsa is definitely better than Star. But, like, Star has that, like, aura about her where she's like, oh, you know, she has that potential similar to Eclipsa, sort of, and Moon just has none of that. So overall, I think we see Star in more impressive fights than Moon, to be fair. And that's just base anyway. Like, I feel like Star grows like a lot more than Moon did. Moon is just kind of stagnant. Next up is gonna be Globgor. Now, he should be above the base version of the princesses because he fights like the Mubity versions, and they're kind of having a tough time with him, but they kind of hold him back. But the fact they went into those forms in the first place is, and listen, the Mubity forms are like infinitely above the base forms, like by like a lot, So if they're using Mubity forms, he kind of just has to upscale, so he just has to be stronger than the base versions of these magical characters who sort of scale to the wand. Next up is going to be the magical version, buff version of Mina. Pretty self-explanatory. Magic, dip down, blah, 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 right? Next is going to be Moon. I think Moon is more experienced. Now, Mina is the greatest warrior that ever lived, but if this is Moon we're talking about with the Mubity form. Now, Mina had a Mubity form, that would be crazy, but it's not. She's not of that lineage, so she kind of just has to, and also, I can't say Globgor is like above that, not at all. Just doesn't have the feats for that. Now we're getting into the stage of the the god tiers, basically, sort of. And these guys just don't have the feats just like Moon has. Moon was the only one that can even slightly match against, you know, the next person that's gonna be next. I'm gonna show you in a second. Okay, next up is gonna be, I'm gonna call him Luffy, right? Because this is Toffee in Ludo's body. So, similar, again, I'm gonna mention another anime. If you watch Jujutsu Kaisen, Sukuna takes over Yuji's body. When Sukuna is possessing him, nobody regards him as Yuji. That is Sukuna, right? That's what they're gonna call him, even though it's not his body per se. But anyway, so Luffy here, or just Toffee, whatever. He's a wand user. He's casually pretty kind of low diffs the magical high commission. Moon is clearly the one that's carrying, has the most power. Mubity dips down, blah blah blah, right? What you gonna do? Again, solos. If he casually just solos them and Moon, who should be above these, there's nothing they can do, obviously, right? Star and base, never gonna do anything, blah blah blah. Next is slightly weird. So this Toffee here, he erases all magic, or the concept of magic, really. And this is the same Toffee possessing this body, and he's doing all of this. Now you can just say, oh, he's using the wand, but look at this. He is the magic, bruh. Like, he can't just corrupt it and then just can't, like, scale to it. Now, I'm not saying base Toffee scales to the wand or the magical realm, whatever. I think when he comes out of this, he comes out of the wand, then he's back in his normal body. He goes back to, like, B tier. But in this form, these two right here are kind of the same. So, he kind of has to, you know, if these princesses came into this magical realm while he was in this form, then they're gonna have a problem, okay? Again, so next up, you might be able to argue I need to put another tier, but I don't think so. Star, she came in, one-shotted Toffee. Now again, he lost his, you know, OPness, he lost his like wand, and he turned off all magic until Star took it all and just started using her maximum full potential on some Super Saiyan 3 type thing, and she one-shotted him. So, and she's above again. Obviously above any of the, like, you want to argue, oh, Moon can fight that? I doubt it. I'm pretty sure the idea here is that Star used up more magic. It basically used up everything, while Moon didn't use everything. So next up is gonna be Meteor monster form. Star is having a very rough time and more experience in this form as well later on, fighting this monster here, who has a kind of Durneg ability to shoot laser beams, possibly speed of light or faster, whatever, that kind of stuck in your soul. So imagine the Tosca blade from Naruto. That's the sword Itachi uses. The sword just kind of absorbs your soul, kind of one-shots you, whatever. She has that, but as Superman laser beams. So that's kind of rough. Will definitely kind of just, obviously just kind of one-shot everybody here, unless they put up like a shield like Star did in the actual fight that we saw. Next up, I'm gonna put Eclipsa. Eclipsa is pretty much the most powerful wand user ever. She's like the Madara. Like, she has that aura that she was just the most infamous, scariest one. They had to seal her. She has the spells that Moon had to like corrupt her arms just to use, and they're the only thing that can like one-shot characters that are even stronger than her and can one-shot obviously the rest. Should be above Star. She just casually took out the monster form, who was weakened, but nonetheless, nobody would really argue Star is, now Star is she's getting there. She has that potential of like Eclipsa, but usually most people still regard Eclipsa as more powerful, especially since Eclipsa put up some, how you say, force fields against the Solarian warriors, and they're kind of like having a rough time trying to blast through it, or trying to like punch through it or whatever. And basically, I don't see Star putting up something like that. I'm pretty sure Eclipse's force fields are stronger in base than Mubity Star. So next up is pretty obvious. This is the Mubity form for Eclipsa in the finale. Should be more powerful. Not enough to get in the S tier, but she's pretty much the top of A, basically. Next up is gonna be the Rainbow Kaiju Armor Star. Now, this armor is way stronger than Mubity. Mubity couldn't really do anything against a Solarian warrior. And let me just put this guy here, basically. Now, they're both fighting almost pretty evenly. And maybe you could say stars like this, but then again, that's only if he doesn't have the sword, sure. But if he has like the magic one-shot sword that the one-shots even Globgor or whatever, then it's like this, right? And basically what happened in the show. Star got like stabbed, blah blah blah, and she couldn't do anything. So yeah, and she couldn't really damage him like that. She beat him up, but she really didn't do much at all. So, but again, these guys would like one-shot pretty much everybody here, even with just their fists. So. Next is gonna be like the Mina version of the Solarian Warrior. My headcanon is, you know, her armor is stronger, right? It's like custom. But if you want to say the equal or whatever, and that it doesn't really matter, sure. But also you can try and say Mina is like enhancing it for her own magic or her own strength, whatever. I imagine is stronger. I don't think anybody's gonna argue against that. And then last one is Glossaric. I don't even know why I said she. Glossaric is pretty much above. He is like all the magic. He pretty much is like everything. Glossaric is pretty much, he's the embodiment of the universe in one scan. That says he is. He pretty much is everything, right? So he kind of just has to scale above whatever. Kind of just chooses not to abide by certain rules. Who knows? We don't understand, right? Trying to understand Glossaric is not gonna work well. So anyway. Here's my scaling, my ranking. If you want to make like more tiers or something and put like star like in a whole nother and everybody else above another tier, maybe, but you know, right? Because like you can see Eclipse solo in the Magical High Commission, like nothing. But then again, just a bunch of B tiers with just one A tier. But again, the this toffee here, Ludo, that Eclipse scales above is low diffing or no diffing moon, right? So you can argue there's another tier, but I'm just gonna leave it like that. I don't want to make too many tiers. This is fine. These characters here are somewhat of a danger to these guys. If they're just not careful, they can hurt them. I don't know. Meanwhile, you can't say the same for these guys. They can't really do like anything like at all. Like Romulus can seal people way strong. He can seal pretty much almost everybody here, maybe except the armor. I can't even imagine like trying to make a Chris do that big, but I don't know. Maybe. Especially if he sealed like Globgor or whatever, but that's not happening. So again, maybe, and then the Marco stuff is like a little weird. You want to argue like his adult form is like equal to his kid form or whatever, but anyway, hope you guys liked. Please don't hate, please don't leave a dislike, please like instead, and subscribe, and I hope to see you guys next time.